Yeah, this is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Let's go!
Hey everybody.
Hi guys.
We're on holidays at the moment.
Oh, I'm loving it.
And
Sick.
loving it.
We've gotten a collection of some of the finest work that we've done throughout the year. Oh, guys.
And then we padded it out with some rubbish.
Don't undersell it, Nate.
Yeah.
Don't undersell it.
And this, of course, being a live broadcast. Today's best bits are all about...
From the Vault 2015.
Couldn't have said it better
yeah.
myself.
Oh my God, right to the point you are.
Enjoy.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Hello, James Blunt.
Blunty.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're
Hey,
wonderful,
buddy.
Blunty.
You are so good on the X Factor. We've spoken to you a few times before in the past, mate, and people don't get how great your personality is. You're doing really well.
Yeah, I think perhaps they know me for that song that you've just
Yes.
played.
They do.
Which is a rather drippy song. And as you know, I suppose, yeah, it's weird. Lots of people say, oh, you must be so romantic and stuff. And I think you probably picked up on the point that actually, you know, if you break that song down, it's a guy who's obviously high on drugs, stalking someone else's girlfriend on the underground and should probably be imprisoned.
All the people that had that as their wedding song are now going,
people play it at their wedding song. And,
Yeah.
Hey,
But, you know,
Blunty, one thing I've noticed with you on the X Factor is your lips are looking very pink. I know that's a strange thing to pick up. Have you noticed
What's going on there?
what's going on when you're looking at the TV as well?
Listen, there are a couple of things you should know about me. On the weekends, I like to wear makeup, and and when I'm on the
We don't
radio,
judge.
when I'm on the radio, I like to wear women's underwear.
Okay. Well, it's not. I thought that was just one of those things I did.
Well, you know what? We come from the same school of weirdness.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think it just makes life more exciting.
Hey, how's Ibiza going? Like, you're living there?
I live there, but I can't remember much about it.
That means you do live there. Yeah.
Because we've spoken to you about the fact that, you know, Pete, you rock up sometimes at your house and people are having a party in your front yard. What is
It's true.
what is day-to-day like there?
Well, yeah, it is true. I've been away in different countries and then suddenly seen on somebody's Facebook page, you know, post have them having a party in my house. And
Do you just leave the key under the mat?
But
How does
because
it happen?
I built a nightclub at the end of the garden.
Oh, nice.
With a big neon sign saying Blunty's nightclub where everybody's beautiful. And I have a mannequin on the door she's hot actually, by the way, and with behind a red rope, and she's got a list of all my mates' names on it, and she lets you in. Her name is Svetlana. I did have another one before that called Nadia, but her back broke, and so I buried her. I buried her in the forest outside my garden in a wedding dress.
We're still talking
that's
about
lovely.
wedding dress.
about
Of course.
mannequins,
in a
right?
kind of shallow grave, and I'm hoping someone will find this in a few years. Not too soon, but in a few years.
CSI Ibiza. I love it.
So, Blunty, have you thought about doing some of your own dance music? Because that's a place where you would be able to play your own tunes and everyone would be going rocking
I've
out.
got a song called 1973, which was about a nightclub, about the Ibiza's most famous nightclub, Pasha, which opened in that same year, and it has been remixed by Pete Tong and played in the nightclub.
Oh, wicked.
That's amazing.
So that's pretty much as close as I'll probably get to it.
Hey, we were watching X Factor so far, and you could stop audition process now and actually do the competition
Some
with
real
the
talent.
There's some, you know what? Actually, I kind of almost feel sad having watched the show is that they haven't really got enough time to show you any bad stuff. They've just shown there are so many good singers, so much talent that they've had to show you that, and it really is good, isn't it?
But I do like the other guys, those two guys.
We're not talking about on the judging panel. They're low in talent.
I do like how honest you are, though. Those two guys, the rappers that came in the other day,
they've
and you
done
said
it
you've been
before.
here. This is your third time. I think you should stop coming.
Yeah, you know what? I think you've got to be straight up with people, and also, you know, that's the great thing about music. Some people will like it and some don't. Those guys got through. I didn't like it, but 3 guys on the panel did, and so they've got through.
One of the things, though, watching it and seeing how much talent that we've seen in the first week in particular is, I think, well, how come these people haven't already been made stars along the journey? Does it take luck in a way to be able to make get
to
through
get ahead,
sometimes,
yeah.
James?
It takes a lot of things, definitely. You know, you've got to have a voice, you've got to have songs, you've got to have real ambition, and you've got to create a bit of luck along the way. And if it's, you know, and some of these guys are incredible singers, but they probably need to create that luck. And if going in on X Factor and getting the publicity, getting the exposure is what it takes, then and then this could be the point that they break.
Yep.
Now, Blunty, we saw Ellen come out recently, and she talks about her stint on American Idol as being the biggest mistake of her life. You know, she really didn't like judging people and having to, you know, make a call on people's dreams and on their future. You seem pretty comfortable with it?
No, I've really struggled with it.
Yeah,
Genuinely,
right.
I really have felt uncomfortable with it. You know, at the end of the day, who are we on this panel?
Yeah.
You know, between us, we got a hit between us, haven't we?
Oh, you've got a few.
Come on.
And we're giving our thing, but that is the gig.
Yeah.
I think we're incredibly lucky to have it. We are, the judges probably benefit perhaps even more than the contestants. You know, it's our faces on these posters all around there, and I think these guys who get up on this stage, and some of it is for our own entertainment. Those guys who do it, all of them deserve a hell of a lot of respect because they make their mistakes, if they do make mistakes, or at least they put themselves out to be judged in front of a nation, and that's probably more ballsy than all four of us judges do.
Sure.
Now, James-
other than Guy Sebastian, who's done it himself.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
a fool for doing so.
A bit of local news for you. Over here, a beautiful, beloved giraffe called Asali. She's travelling
Shipped.
from WA over to Adelaide. They're going to be driving her on the back of a ute.
Hopefully not through any low bridges.
I know.
Thank you.
We're
Yes.
worried about the whole Hangover 3 thing happening, but we've been asking our listeners all morning, if you were to drive a giraffe on the road in a trailer, how fast would you go? How fast would you travel if you were towing a giraffe, James Blunt?
Well, I think, having stuck my... I know what. I can do this. Having ridden on them, I ride motorbikes all
Yes.
the time.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I can do that, up to whatever, 120 miles. Fine. However, we've got to bear in that I don't have a very long neck.
Right, okay,
So
okay.
I would cut it down to about 25 to 30 miles an hour.
And what is that in kilometres per hour?
Oh,
do you know?
that's looking at about 60. Yeah.
60
Okay, I
Ks.
was 55. That's a smart
Yeah.
answer.
I was
Yeah.
thinking 80 Ks.
Because, we figured that you, with your
You're
time in the
reckless.
army,
80 k's, you're a reckless giraffe.
Well, obviously,
driver.
coming into a corner, James, I'd
You
probably
slow
just drop
down.
it down a little bit.
Obviously.
And particularly around school zones.
And the slower you go, then the more time you've got to consult the map just to make sure about those bridges.
Thank you, James Blunt.
it is always good to consider
You know,
that.
and it's I never thought the X Factor job would give me so many different, questions and problems to have to help the Australian people.
Well, look,
we've got so many more.
in times of
good to be of
darkness, we turn
service.
to you, Blunty. We turn
And that
to you.
that stuff is for free.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
it's for
just
free.
while we got you, what do you think about our whole Prime Minister spill thing?
I think they should have got them up. The various contestants for Prime Minister, they should have got them up on the stage in front of Danny and Guy and Chris and myself, and we wouldn't have known what the hell we're talking about, but we probably would have come up with an answer.
Yeah.
As
that would have
somebody from
given you-
overseas, do you think it's a bit weird that we change prime ministers very frequently?
Well, I think, probably better than countries that keep their Prime Ministers for decades.
Sure.
Wisdom, the wisdom of the Blunt.
Once again, he's come through.
James Blunt, thank you for talking to us.
I'm
We can see
loving
you're
I'm loving
very
this job.
fine.
Really good.
And then if you've got any sexual problems you want to talk about,
Sean has a few.
Oh, my God.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
As you know, there is nothing that I like than a good severe haunting. I love it. One of my favourite
do.
things to do is watch a scary movie at my house by myself to open up the sliding door so things could get me and really
Whereas
freak
Sean
myself
We are
out.
completely opposite in this realm.
And that's why I'm excited every time when the new Paranormal Activity movie comes out and there's a new one out in 3D.
3D.
We got to see it. We were in amongst it. And we're really excited to speak to someone that does this actually in their real life.
And is
Incredible.
also an advisor to the Paranormal Activity people. Good morning, Chris Chacon.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
I love this sort of stuff, mate. You must have the most interesting life. So you're an anomalist, a parapsychologist?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Chris, Nathan's saying about how excited he is about all this stuff and how he loves to leave the door open. I'm on the other case, very, very scared of all this type of thing. Are you excited when you get caught up in this activity when you're investigating different things, or do you get nervous as well? Because we're talking about demons here.
Well, it's demons is one possibility. The idea of a demon kind of embraces the whole Judeo-Christian construct, good and evil. But there's a lot of phenomena which don't fall into those categories, and it's a matter of interpretation a lot of times.
Sure.
But in regards to the situations I deal with, unfortunately, I get the most volatile, extreme cases.
Oh, really?
If they're asking me if someone's doing a possession,
Yes.
and the exorcist is asking me to fly out to give a consultation, that means there's something happening, not just to the person, but in the environment that they want my assessment of. The phenomena is extreme to some degree.
This is so exciting.
In those cases, it's I'm not going to say it's exciting. Now, obviously, it's extraordinary whenever a law of physics is being broken because of some phenomena.
Yeah.
But, usually the situations I'm dealing with, people are experiencing severe trauma. There's PTSD across the board from family members, people experiencing it. In one particular possession case, it was in the midst of the possession when I got there, the exorcism, and the person had gouged out his eyes, had ripped his cheek, had mutilated his body, literally, in the process as of trying to sedate him. And you see the family members, why they were nearby, a situation that got really out of hand, and you see this trauma across everyone's faces. Or there's another poltergeist case I'm thinking about right now where we don't know what kind of phenomena it is, but a family of 4 all claimed to be knocked down by something in this house, and, having met the family members, they're all sustained injuries. And you see these little children, who are frightened of something they can't see, something tangible. And so those type of things really, leave a mark on you.
I bet they do.
Hey, Chris, Halloween's coming up very soon, and there'll be people that think it's fun to do a seance or mess with a Ouija board and that kind of thing. In your experience, can this actually have a bad outcome where bad stuff starts to happen afterwards?
First, let me give you the answer, and then I'll qualify it.
Okay.
The answer is yes. Now, let me qualify that answer. Items like the Ouija board, for example. The Ouija board, it's interesting history. It was actually a product of a game back from a World's Fair. And so, there was actually sort of an invention of simply a game back in the days of spirit and psychic photography when it was all the rage, and everyone could have this Ouija board in their home.
Yeah.
It was not intended to be taken seriously. However, the Ouija board is a product of other ancient systems of the occult or metaphysics, which use methods, things like called scrying and other methods where you supposedly can pierce the veil of the other world around you and actually interact or communicate with other dimensions, other beings, and other planes. You don't need a Ouija board to do that. There's one device called a psychomantium where every mirror in every home potentially has the possibility of doing that, of opening a portal to.
They reckon they're
whatever.
doing it. They reckon they're making a new app with iPhone. So, anyone get behind me here?
Well, no, don't joke. There was an iPhone app just recently downloaded by a young girl, and I don't know where it was, but there's videos come back with her, and they said that it was a Ouija board app, and they said that she was fully possessed by it. You don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, sure.
But, if something like a Ouija board can manifest something, that's pretty concerning.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing because right off the bat, I have to say that you're dealing with someone's own belief system, how they interpret it. If you take someone who's potentially really susceptible to suggestion and they're suffering from anxiety disorder or something, it's very possible for that to manifest in other ways, and they're going to think it's supernatural, paranormal.
Now, Chris, have you been to an exorcist? I'm sure you've been to a few exorcists, but where the person ends up speaking in a different language? Because I see that on TV a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, especially if it's the Roman Catholic Romanum, there's a very strict criteria. One of them is regarding the languages, speaking in tongues, a variety like that. And so I've been to over 1,000 possession exorcisms in a variety of different belief systems.
Whoa.
And in some of them, they speak in languages which ancient Aramaic, Babylonian, or some languages which they have no access to quite frequently.
That is incredible. That must blow you away.
That's brilliant. And you need iTranslate app on your iPhone while you're
do.
downloading that Ouija board. Hey, Chris, what is the most... I'm guessing the exorcisms are terrifying to be part of, but take them out of the picture. What's the most scary thing that you've witnessed? Because I think, a lot of people go, I would believe if I was standing in a room and a table got flipped up to a wall. Have you experienced anything like that?
Most definitely. There's been... I can't tell you the number of times that I've encountered... from an anomalistic standpoint, it's called anomalist kinetic activity. If it was a parapsychological term, it'd be poltergeist activity or psychokinetic activity. Yeah, I've encountered, whether it be in a residence, in a jungle, in caves, where objects move, phenomena happens, and apparently defying the laws of physics and gravity for these events to happen. You never get used to it because it's always quite extraordinary when it happens.
Amazing.
And the question is what's really causing these phenomena to happen, because we have an understanding of the way physics works and energy, and for these things to happen, it means that there's a lot we don't understand.
If something like that does happen, because I've lived in a house and my partner and I were pretty sure that it was haunted because weird things happen. We would see things, you would hear noises, knocking, that kind of stuff that didn't make sense otherwise. And we're quite logical, rational people. Do you need to be concerned, or is it quite possible that it was just a fairly benign presence that didn't mean any harm?
Because when we see paranormal activity,
Yes.
the whole time I was screaming, get out of the house.
house.
I
Get
do
out of the
understand
house.
people can be haunted, but
Right.
at least try it. Just get out of there for one night. They never did. They never did.
Well,
They deserve to be murdered.
And, and that's the advice I give people. Is you get out. You don't
out.
stay there.
But some of them are
but-
friendly, right?
Certainly. And, of course, if they did that in the movie, it'd be a very short
Sure.
film.
Yeah.
So the ghost would just sit there
So
nicely and
lovely.
braid your hair.
Yeah,
Sit
Casper.
there.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
nice. Does the
So,
dishes.
yeah, actually, a case that I recall actually in your area, in the Perth area, that I had come in to consult on, dealt with that exact thing where the family members were the advice was to try to empower them to tell it to stop. And for a course of weeks, each of the family members were yelling and screaming at this thing to stop happening because they'd be at the breakfast table and their glasses would start sliding around the table as if they were on a cruise ship and
Yeah.
they were hitting high waves.
Yeah, sure.
And they would all be yelling at this thing as if it was a child being very juvenile, basically bothering them, tasking them, doing all kinds of things. One of the times, it began to get bad, though, when one of the times one of the kids was taking a shower, and it turned on the hot water.
Oh.
And things began to get really bad and negative, and that's when they brought me in to try to assess, because the situation dropped really quickly into something that was a
Getting
darker
nasty.
nature.
So
But,
what happened? Did you get rid of it?
We did actually rectify that situation. Yeah, the phenomenon stopped.
I want to know.
You're
where that happened.
basically a Ghostbuster,
This is
aren't you?
everything. This is such a great job.
I remember actually. I loved your area there because I remember. Let me see. We went by the Fremantle Arts Center.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, which
they
used to
always
be-
say it's haunted.
Yes,
That's
it
what
used
they
to be a
say.
mental asylum, so some bad stuff happened
And,
there.
yeah, because of the phenomena. A lot of residual phenomena that's supposed to be happening there.
Hey, Chris, you talked about that, and whilst it's fresh in everyone's mind, being here in Perth. So, how did you go about rectifying it? What did you use? Did you have to say some stuff? Did you pour some stuff out? What happened? Set a fire?
Oh no, a lot of it actually. It was there's a couple of different methods across the board to deal with. One of them is using anomalistic, and when you go into that area, you kind of look at the environment. You actually use scientific means to alter the environment to kind of purge it. And one of the ways, for example. You could get an ozonator, which creates ozone and makes O3 in the air, makes very pure air. And you switch this thing on, you let it run day and night, day and night. What you're really doing is altering the environment to see if it'll have an effect on the phenomenon.
Oh.
So that's just one example. But
So turn the
in this
aircon on.
particular case,
Yeah.
well, sure, or play, Pink Floyd day and night, 24/7.
Yeah, you wouldn't play death
over
metal.
and over again on the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
and-
to drive a ghost out, you'd have to play something really positive like Taylor Swift.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Shake it off. Shake it off. The ghost is like, nah.
Yeah. Actually, I know some people who were experiencing the phenomena in India, and they ended up playing the Carpenters
Oh, did they?
24/7, night and day, over and over again, full blasting it. And after, I believe it was after like 3 weeks, they said whatever was in there was gone.
The ghost didn't
but so
want
a lot of the
to
neighbors
the
were
Yeah, all the
carpenters
neighbours are left
again.
too.
But then I've got the thing that'll get rid of any ghost. Nickelback. Nickelback.
That gets rid of
Done.
everybody, though.
You can travel around the world with just a CD, mate, and your job is going to be so easy.
Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. It's so fascinating.
It is
It really
You've
gets
got a great
people.
job.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun.
I am special. Yesterday, for the first time in 5.5 years, I realised that the couch that we're throwing out actually had legs that should have been put on it.
Yeah, Sean. I mean, well, welcome to the leg community. I mean, welcome to having your furniture raised up off the floor. I mean, it's a great place. I mean, dizzy heights are dizzy heights.
They were dizzy heights.
Remember, was it this year, the start of this year, where I had the soft top off my car and it was locked and I leant in to do something and then an alarm went off?
You discovered you had a
And I was
car
like,
alarm.
"What?" I didn't know how to turn it off. And I was like, beep, beep, beep. And I was like, and then I did it again to test it out. And I was like, this is happening. This is happening.
There you go.
One day I'm going
That's
to read that booklet.
what we're talking about when you've suddenly discovered that something you own has other features of which you were unaware, like legs. Tracy, who is visiting from Adelaide. Welcome to Perth, Tracy.
Woohoo! Thank you.
on you, Trace.
Respect to Glenelg, Tracy. Respect to Glenelg.
And to Snowtown.
Yeah.
Oh, Snowtown.
Okay, yeah, not so much respect to Snowtown.
We don't bring up Snowtown in the state.
No.
So
All right,
Thanks
Trace,
for talking about it.
what did you discover? Did something a bit unexpected?
A bit unexpected. My sister discovered that her fancy fridge, which has the ice in the water tray,
Oh, that one.
One of them,
Yeah.
that she's been cleaning out faithfully with a cotton stick for 5 years because it's the only way she knew how to do it, actually pulls out and she can wipe it out later.
she's been like a surgeon, a brain surgeon, cleaning around with this tiny little thing.
For 5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
And it
Go
just,
cotton sticks.
you can just slide it out and clean it. Enjoy your stay here.
Yeah, Trace, I love having you.
Let's go to Fiona in Alexander Heights. Morning, Fee.
Hi, beautiful people.
Hi, Fee.
Fee, did you make a bit of a discovery?
I did. We bought a house in Greenwood and we were living there for 3 years. And I was cleaning the gutters one day and I saw a coat hanger on the roof. So I pulled back the coat hanger and a roof tile slid down and there was a secret compartment in the roof.
Whoa,
Oh, this is everybody's dream.
What was in there? Was there anything in there?
Yeah, it was something very suspicious. We had to throw it out.
Someone would smoke or something?
Something like that, yes.
Or someone would shoot. What is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So we've
Shoot
been
and
living
smoke.
under it this whole time.
Oh, my God. Lucky you threw it out, Fiona?
Hey, Fiona.
Hey?
Hey, how many pieces did you order afterwards?
No, we didn't throw it on the fire.
No, you
No.
wouldn't have thrown it on the fire. The whole
no.
suburb would have been starving.
A secret compartment in the roof.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
So Sean got a new couch, moving out the old one, found a weird zipped compartment underneath it.
Amazing,
So what do you do?
amazing.
You undo a zip,
Thought
don't
there was
you?
treasure.
And what was in there?
The legs.
5
The legs.
years. That couch
To
had
the
been
couch.
sitting on the lounge room floor.
Yeah.
Just no legs.
No legs.
And you didn't think that was weird?
Tell you what, it's like winning some sort of lotto, discovering something that
Leg
you've owned
lotto.
for a fair while does something else.
Blake's in Mount Helena. Morning, Blake.
Hey, how you going, guys?
Good morning,
Hey.
mate.
Did you make one of these discoveries, Blake?
I did make a discovery. I bought a drone about 6 months ago,
Yes.
and only about a week ago discovered that it's actually got a 360 barrel roll button on it.
Right. So you can
barrel roll,
fly it
really?
along and then press that button and it just does a loop.
Yeah, you just push the button and push which direction you want it to roll, and it does flips and tricks and all this stuff.
How
amazing.
enraged are you that you have been denied all of these barrel roll
For 6
opportunities
months.
for 6 months?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, if I had known, I would have been doing it every day.
Oh, well,
Oh, for sure.
how would you not?
Blake, side question, how many times have you crashed your drone?
Oh, I don't know, over a dozen.
Yeah, and have you broken anything severely with it? Yeah?
No, it's pretty sturdy actually. It's one of the cheaper ones. It's only $110, but indestructible.
All
There
right.
you go. There you go.
Sounds awesome, a drone.
Good on you, Blake. Let's go to Roger in Adelaide. Morning, Rog.
Good morning, how are you?
Hey, good,
Right,
Rog.
Rog. Now, have you made a discovery about something you've had a while?
Yeah, we bought a new electric kettle and got it home, and the lead was like about 20 centimetres long. You had to put it right against the wall.
Oh,
And we had some friends over and were complaining about it, and the mate just come over and lifted up the base, and there's about a metre
Yeah.
of lead underneath it.
It's coiled underneath. You're an idiot.
Roger.
As soon as you started talking.
I was going to take it back and complain.
Like, who has the valve points this close? Like, are you serious? Like, I
wouldn't mind a little flexibility.
Mr. Kettle.
Oh, Roger.
Okay,
You
Roger.
are a very special case. Thank you, Roger.
is
That's
so funny.
Fantastic.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
Now, Rob, we're going to go for the world's longest interview right now, so I hope you've got 3 days.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, no, this is going to be, we're going for about 3 days straight. So are you ready? You've got a glass of water?
All right.
Now,
Hang
talk
on.
to me from the beginning.
Have you got a
When were you born?
You need a stopwatch because you need to actually time
we
it
want
as
this
well.
recorded, obviously.
I've got another one in 15 minutes, so don't be too long.
No, this is a 3-day interview, mate.
Hey, Rob, what do you need in place to make sure that a record is
Official.
Official, yeah, absolutely.
Well, every record that we have has a strict set of guidelines so that whatever it might be, it's being attempted under the same conditions wherever it's being attempted. So anyone who's wanting to attempt a record, they go to guinnessworldrecords.com, they make their application there. If it's something which we are able to recognise or already do recognise, then we would send out a set of guidelines and details on the current record, and then they would have to attempt it according to those guidelines, gather the evidence, send it in to us, and hopefully we would then approve it.
So who are the people that recognise what is going to make it into the book as a record or not? Because Natalie and I currently are world record holders, but it's not through Guinness. I hold the world record for snuggling in a hammock with bunnies, in which I stole that record off of Cameron Diaz. And Natalie?
Mine was for putting on the number of socks put on onto the left foot during the playing of Michael Jackson's Beat It.
Would either of those make it to Guinness?
Well, they're probably a little bit too specific for us. Because we tend to not get too specific or have too many variables in the record. But, if you wanted to do most socks put on in a minute, then that's certainly something that we could have, and I think we actually already have a category for.
Okay. All right.
Who was the first person that did that, by the way? My head spins. You must spin out about some of the people you meet.
Yeah, I mean, talking of Michael Jackson, I met him once, which was fairly spectacular. So some of the people, they're amazing, these people. And what some people might think of as strange is the most important thing in the world to someone else. And that's what Guinness World Records is all about, is celebrating these differences between humans and the different achievements that they all get.
Well, we know there's a record now for the furthest distance to blow a pea. How excited was that guy to, set that record or break it? 7.51 metres.
Blowing a pea?
Blowing a pea.
Records like that, half of the fun with these records is they're extremely accessible and anyone can have a go at it. But once you do have a go at it, you realise quite how difficult it is to get it to that standard that someone has done it to. And often that's what I enjoy most about it. It's taking something fairly straightforward and, what seems achievable and really demonstrating how you can take that to another level.
Are there people, Rob, who are record-breaking junkies in that they basically just want to break records so they can say they've broken a record? And in fact, is there a record for the most number of records broken?
Yes, that's held by a gentleman in America called Ashrita Furman, who's been breaking records for over 15 years. And I think over the years he's had over 300 records. What? The amount that he actually holds at any one time varies day to day because he's constantly doing more and other people are doing his records. But it's usually between 130 and 150 that he holds at any one time.
He's got a black belt in breaking records.
Once somebody is sanctioned as a Guinness Book World Record holder, they can make a career out of this, can't they? Because I've seen that woman that's eyes pop out of her head. I've seen her on so many different talk shows and stuff like this. This can be like a moneymaker, hey?
Well, I guess it depends what you're doing. If you're the woman who makes her eyes pop out, Kim Goodman, she's fairly iconic, and obviously she's...
I get it! Iconic!
Hey! That was hilarious.
I didn't mean that.
Oh, sure you didn't, Rob. Sure you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to use that one again anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, she will go all around the world putting on her kind of eye-watering displays of achievement. You've got me trying to come up with new
Yes, exactly.
I know.
But, yeah.
15 all.
Ironic, isn't it?
30-15.
We better put a lid on this.
There's a record in this somewhere.
Do you mean an eyelid?
Oh, 30 all. 30 all.
It could go on all day.
Okay, I want to point out, I'm just on the Frozen section in the Guinness World Records 2016 book, and there, Sean, Nelly, the tallest snowman was done in Bethel, Maine, right, in USA. It's 37.21 metres tall.
Whoa!
Its arms, which are usually twigs,
Yes.
are two giant pine trees.
Man, that's unbelievable. Look at the people. There's a picture of people standing in front of it, everybody, and you see how it dwarfs
This is why I love these books. So many interesting things. And you're right. You never knew that you were interested in it until you read about it. Hey, Rob.
Exactly. And I think, people often say, oh, well, you're still doing a book. What about the internet? What about other methods of getting this kind of information? And part of the beauty of the Guinness World Records book is that we put all of this information in front of you. If you're looking online, you don't know what to look for until you know what there is.
Yeah, that's exactly
so by
right.
having a book like this, you can flick through if you're interested in Frozen, if you're interested in adventure ballooning or mountaineering, you can, go to those sections and pick out the facts that you never even knew existed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like I'm looking at a list that says tallest married couple. Now, I did not know that was actually anybody would bother to claim a record for
Unreal.
that. But a combined height of 4.23 metres. So
Wow, they'd have some super,
gigantic.
super long babies.
They are.
Was that just one normal person, one really, really, really tall person, Rob, or were they two substantially tall people?
No, they're both fairly substantial. I think that the gentleman in question, Sun Ming Ming, is 7'8", and his wife is 6'1". So they're both
6'1".
fairly big.
Their children are going to be... They're all going to be NBA stars.
Yes, you would hope so,
Have to
wouldn't
be.
you?
I think they are both basketball players.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Well, this is great. We've grown up with this book and it'll be around here forever.
I know,
So-
and it is time to start thinking about Christmas presents. This is just a great thing to give the kids because they can just dip in and out of it, and there is stuff that does really capture the imagination, as always. Rob, thank you so much for talking to us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Great eye gags too, Rob. Great eye gags.
Yes.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.